Hi, this is Gary. I thought we'd take a look at my Lancair II with an IO 375. It weighs about 1,172 pounds. Typical cruise is between 205 212 knots. True. It's got a 72-inch Whirlwind 200 RV prop on it. Kinds of cowling modifications, mainly because I just didn't like the way the stock cowling looked, so I cleaned that up. Another thing that I did that was kind of fun was put in a smoke system on it. I used a tank from Smoke System Helper. That really has added a lot of new features when you're doing formation flight. Another one of the things I did was I modified the canopy and rounded the corners so it would have smooth lines. I also made elevator hinge access covers. Of course, didn't get any speed mod out of that at all, but it does look nice under there. I put the hydraulic pump in the back along with a little avionics shelf. Now let's take a look at the cockpit. One of the things that's nice about building your own plane, and again, it took 8 years to build this, is you get to lay it out like you want. So when I looked at where the switches are, I wanted to try to keep them all in a row. And I think I really came up with a nice design, at least I think so. So I'm happy with it, which is what really counts, right? And I put all the switches in a row. I made push button flaps, put my lights in one common area, header tank, fuel controls, hydraulic pump gauges, all of those, tried to lay those out well so that I'd have a good feature set there. The other thing on the control sticks, it took time there and did a lot of wiring on those. I have rudder trim there, I have my hat switch for elevator, aileron, I have autopilot disconnect, I also have toggles for COM 1 and COM 2 to swap frequencies. That's really handy just to keep your hands on the stick. Panel, I really moved that up 3 inches forward and then up 2 inches. That just allowed more room in the cockpit. Also, all the panel wiring, I should have bought the harnesses, but you know, I went ahead and did it all myself, and boy, that was a lot of work. So when you look at how I laid this out, it was really neat to be able to put switches both on the throttle quadrant as well. So I spent a lot of time on that. I used some of that streamline airfoil tubing to use for the quadrants. I didn't really want that push-pull knobs on there. Just looks a lot nicer, I think. And also I have my ram air selector there on the throttle quadrant too. For the fuel selector, I wanted to be able to feed directly from the header tank, left wing tank, or right wing tank, so that in case of one of my facet pumps failed, I could manually override all that. I also have an automated fill circuit to fill the header tank so that I don't have to worry about which tank. It switches automatically each pump. So overall, I'm really happy with the interior. I've had some people say, hey, you know, the vinyl doesn't look like it was professionally done, and that's right, I did it. I'm happy with it though. The other things I did is there's a glove box. I wanted to be able to put a glove box in there so that I could put the headset jacks in there and keep the cords from being dangling in the cockpit. And when you look at the outside of the plane, a lot of time sanding. You know, I probably spent so many hours trying to get that smooth and right. Also piano hinges for the cowling. There you can see the intake and also the ram air selector. I also put that nose gear door on there and made it adjustable so that it could open and close in flight with a servo. Out of all the mods I did, you know, all the streamlining and everything else, I think that's probably the only one I really saw some speed increase on, and that might have been a couple of knots. A lot of time on the landing gear, getting that right. You'll see here there's a couple other speed mods. Those are the elevator hinges, the trim for the rudder. Used LED lights, of course. And the other thing I did is, you'll see under the wing here, I've got a clear plexiglass so I can do an inspection on the aileron belt cranks. Gear doors, I got a mod from somebody on Lancair Talk and put new gear doors on that close much more tightly. These are the flap hinges. Landing gear camera system. I can visually check each of the gear, make sure they're down. I also have the standard 3 indicators on the annunciator panel. There's other annunciators there too, as well as the left and right fuel tank pumps running. Also have low fuel warning, smoke on system. So now let's take a look under the cowling. You have to do your own exhaust pipes on these Lancair 2s. So you make it out of PVC pipe and piece it together and then send it off and have somebody customize that up for you. I tried to keep inside the engine as clean as possible. That's an overview of my Lancair LNC2 with an IO 375 in it.